Welcome back to GreyWolf TV. We are continuing our episodes of Person of Interest. We are now on episode 8 of season 1. So I spent the whole episode last time round kind of feeling sorry for this school teacher who got kind of caught in the crossfire as the witness with all this gang related mob stuff going on. And same goes for Reese. They ended up having to try and make their way out of the area and out of an apartment building basically controlled by, was it Libyans? Can't remember now. But it was all a false pretense. Because the person in question is this Elias. But I only figured it out right towards the end. I'm sure some of you did as well. But it threw me. Through probably a lot of people, Reese included, Finch included, but we now know this guy is after taking over the city. I don't know how many people he's got in his pocket as regards to police, but he's making a play now. So we do have some sort of backstory. I don't know whether this episode's going to have anything to do with it or not, so we'll just carry on, find out. This is episode 8.
He's on his way there now. What do we assume he knows?
Assume he knows everything.
New number. Wallace Nagel. Born in Germany, 1946, emigrated to the U.S. in 1980. Nagel hasn't made a single electronic transaction in his own name since December of 1987.
So where has he been for 24 years?
And why is he back? The entire span of the Cold War would do it, but specifically the 1980s. And I'll be needing something more precise than books.
What was the name?
Wallace Nagel.
Yeah. Before the country reunified, East Germany was the greatest surveillance state the world has seen. The Stasi knew everything.
Real name Ulrich Kohl, part of an espionage team.
Oh, I read about the Stasi teams.
Can I help you?
Erinnern Sie sich an Anja?
Uh-oh. It bloody is. Goodbye.
You're the new
2006.
guy, right? Let's go somewhere private.
You Tier 1 boys are all the same. Tense. Out here, tense gets us killed. In your old job, you were behind enemy lines for 12 months? When you were in transit, did you see any old friends?
No.
We know about the ex-girlfriend.
I gather.
Like I told you, you never go back.
He used the store's phone, waited for an answer, hung up. I traced the call to that address in the West Village, apartment 4A.
You're gonna find a dead body.
Cole called to make sure he was home.
And they reported to a case officer named Houth for orders.
So who's this dead guy?
The apartment is leased to Andrew Honem.
Cole's job was killing defectors.
Half the intelligence services in the world were tracking these guys at one point. But they were ghosts, untraceable.
This dead guy was Huff. Cole killed his Stasi teammate. And he will kill again. I don't know who you are or how you know to be here.
Shit.
But this is just the beginning.
You gotta stop calling me here.
Homicide in the West Village. Think the shooter might have others planned today. I left you a care package at the scene.
Who's next on Cole's hit list?
I took an encrypted phone from that German agent. Every text is blocked except for the one they were reading. The perfect place to disappear, right, Finch?
These people were his teammates.
Yeah.
Why would he be hunting them 2 decades later?
I don't
Cole
know.
vanishes without a trace. His teammates end up living cushy lives in New York.
Where's your accent, Hauptmann?
We were advised to blend in America.
Yes.
I saw Haupt this morning. He was a good case officer. He kept information on you all these years.
I didn't know they would go after her, too. But killing me won't bring her back, Ulrich.
The people who caught me kept me in a hole. But I never stopped thinking. I did not have that luxury.
No, sounds like you didn't.
It was wrong, what we did. Be at peace, my old friend.
He's gone. You can allow the suspect if he does walk away.
I was killing their informants. The Americans wanted him gone.
What happened after you defected?
They told us Cole ran to the Soviets. They got her too.
The car accident.
Yes.
I kept the lawyer alive, but Cole's not done yet. Cole's team betrayed him, and it got his wife killed. They preserved themselves over him.
Now, the same senior citizen wearing a gray suit was seen fleeing both locations.
Wall Street. That's where the ambulance was jacked earlier, right?
It sure was. Read a description of who jacked it?
My guy? How's he involved in this?
His name is Cole. He is a prisoner. Arrested in an operation between my government and yours 24 years ago. He was jailed without trial. Cole isn't supposed to exist.
Here, Michael Stagans, construction foreman from Newark. Credit scores only go back to 1988. If the pattern follows...
Then Stagans is really Styler.
I knew this day would come.
Left the line open.
I learned from the best. I learned from you. You believed in the killing. You trained me. You made me what I was. I believe in my country. What they did to Anya, though, you will pay for that. Wait, Ulrich. There is something you don't know. I was the only one who knew.
Don't tell me.
Hello?
I don't fucking believe it.
Hello?
She was more afraid of you than anyone, Ulrich. So you see, your revenge was all for nothing.
Holy!
Mr. Reese, I'm highly uncomfortable being here.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable having you here, but I need a spotter.
45-degree oblique wind. 3/4 value wind speed.
Fuck me.
I'm the guy who still has time to save Anya Cole. Now, I know she's alive. but
So
I
don't
need to know
deny
where.
it.
Man has nothing to say. Any communication would violate the...
There's nothing I can do. Save her if you can.
That's a well rod, isn't it? Only 73 decibels when fired. But it won't stop me before I get to you. You don't have a plan, do you?
Holy shit.
Your external carotid arteries obstruct both.
What's important now is getting you into police custody. There's a detective at the 8th precinct.
No, wait. We can't go yet.
It's safe there, I promise.
Not yet, please. I need to make a phone call.
When you travel, you pick up things. Skills, items. They all laughed at me when I learned to use these needles. The ulnar nerve is the largest nerve in the human body. It's unprotected. Goes from the shoulder to the fingernail beds.
They didn't get very far, did they? Thank you. Remember our friend, the German agent, and his escort?
Yeah, they got hit.
JFK? Apparently, a guy in a suit shot them off the road with a high-caliber weapon.
Look, you guys just can't ring me up like I'm a bellhop.
Our mutual friend went after your perpetrator, and I haven't heard from him. Something's wrong.
Killing is what I was good at.
I noticed. That hydrogen cyanide that you used on Warnick. You didn't bring that into the country.
And killed wherever they sent me. For that, I was called a monster. Even the blackest heart still beats.
I was you, Cole.
So then you fled to the Soviet Union.
He thought it was still safe there. We traveled separately. That's when the Americans found me. The Americans staged a car accident to keep me safe. Ulrich believed I was dead. But I started a new life.
She has my mother's eyes.
Don't tell me.
Don't do anything stupid, all right?
How could she keep this from me? Anya.
Because you're in a hole.
How could they take this girl from me?
Jesus, Fusco.
Cole wants to meet in the park. He said he wouldn't hurt the girl if his wife came alone.
She's not going anywhere alone.
From the past, I knew her. I knew your father.
My father? Where you been? We got an anonymous call.
I'll shoot us in the park.
And if he's here, Got a feeling my vigilante's here too.
You go get them both?
But they told me he'd become a monster.
That's what they do.
Who is this man?
Your daddy.
We wouldn't have had this life. Either of us.
A part of me has been with you, always.
That's been your sacrifice.
This is Carter. Report. Who has a 20 on that shot?
Are you all right?
I never had a tomorrow.
How did you know I'd shoot?
You are a soldier, like me. Everything I had.
They did.
But part of me survived. It was her.
I really enjoyed this.
Located the source of that shot.
I need you to dispose of this. And them.
You didn't even question them.
We don't have time for questions. Only answers. These men took a bribe to let a mass murderer escape. You don't have any old friends. You see them? You don't know them.
The German government will sweep the whole thing under the rug.
Of course they will.
And Ulrich Kohl never existed.
You think anyone will care for our names?
After we're dead.
Okay, that was episode 8 of Person of Interest. I connected with that episode more than any other so far. That's definitely my favourite episode 8 so far, because here was a man who was doing what he thought was right, and his country came calling with the "your country needs you," same as the flashbacks we're just getting about Reese when he went into this. And it's the issue a lot of soldiers have, whether they're just normal boots on the ground soldiers, part of a whether they're part of military, or whether they're this where it's black ops, or they're off book, or they're a ghost. They want you to do stuff. They want you to become a killer. They train you to become an expert killer. And then when things change, especially with this guy did when East Germany fell, you are of no longer any use, and they have to deny any knowledge or existence of you. And they've put him in a hole for 25 years, 24. Because today's Germany can't admit that this guy exists and what he did. And Reese has had the same. That's why he knew he wouldn't hesitate with the shot. I was going along with what this guy was doing, thinking he'd just been sold out by all his old team, until we found out about the wife and that she wasn't dead. Understandable that she left because she was no longer married to the person she thought she knew, that they'd become a monster, they were a different person. She clearly, as she said in the episode, was pregnant at the time. So she took the offer of going to America and the rest of them, and he's the one who paid the price. But in the end, his incarceration is what allowed his daughter to flourish here. So he's got that. I think that's basically what he's saying at the end, is my penalty and my incarceration was worthless, which is why I was on this rampage and revenge kill till she came along. And now you've got something for it. When her daughter said, "My father died a hero, helping my mom with me get out of East Germany and start a new life," that is not something a woman in her position would tell her daughter if she hated him, if she never loved him. She would given her a completely different story about how much of a bad person your father was and they had to get away from him, but she didn't. And that was the telltale sign for me. But that was a really good episode, and Reese kind of connected with exactly what this guy has gone through, and he knew. With Reese, he's like, I need you. You're a soldier. You'll do what's necessary. You'll get the job done. There was no way he was going to shoot his door. I wasn't sure what he was going to do. But now he ends up paying the price. And we've gotten quite a bit of, well, no, not quite a bit, but a little bit of a snippet of more or less probably the same sort of scenario that this guy went through. We just saw Reese go through with what looks like back then, was it 2006, was going to be his handler, and the excuses, the justification, anonymous, reliable source that they're dirty. We don't need to ask questions. You just do your job. You kill, you shoot. As and when we say, we've already determined who the targets are. You don't need to know the details. And when you create these people, you can't turn them off. Which is why we started this series, I think, pretty much with him as a nobody. And Finch is right at the end. I thought we're already dead. You kind of are. A pair of you are ghosts. Is anyone going to care? Is anyone going to know? He kind of rolls Fusco one there because he could have very nearly have been taken out by this dude then. He was pretty lethal. Even at his age, which is what got him out in the first place, because they completely underestimated him by putting him into a minimal security because he'd gotten old, which is how he ended up here in the first place. And those needle things, the guy knew a lot. I mean, East Germany and the spy stuff and everything, and the soldiers back then were pretty intense. Same with the Russians. And let's face it, at the end of the day here, he got one over on Reese. Absolutely. Old school. Versus, I wouldn't say newer, because I wouldn't say new school, I'd say a newer generation from Reese. I like in this episode that Finch had to go and source a non-digital way of getting hold of the information. Then he needed the old analog way, i.e. someone who knows, someone who has the books, the intel, and he had to go and see that guy, even though he kind of bribed him into giving him the information. But anything that's pre-digital, that's what you got to do. It's not been here forever. So I like that they still had to put that bit in, that it was out of his reach, this, because it was back from the 80s. But that was a really, really good episode. Like I said, I connected with that episode the most. So far, we've watched 8 episodes. That is my favourite. We'll see if any more come along in this season that end up number 1 over that for me. Anyway, we will be back with episode 9 next. If you want to watch this in full length, guys, it will be available over on Patreon. Link will be in the description. If you're not already subscribed and you enjoy The Person of Interest, by all means, hit that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you for episode 9 next. Till then, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you for the next one.